literally what that is. It just fucking ended again after a certain amount of time. Guess it just doesn't like files too large. So there's that. Point is, though, right? You are literally a journalist working for a multi-millionaire, billionaire individual who owns your ass and tells you what you are allowed to write. You used to be a part of a given type of group of people that actually meant something. Now you make it so nobody wants to do it because it's fucking ridiculous. Everybody has no money, no time, and everything is go, 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 go. You have a 24-hour news cycle because, like, yeah, everybody's going 24 hours. That's the point. That's what really is happening in real life. Everything is 24 hours, 24/7. 365 most of the time. You get brief respites. That's it. Or respites. Or data. Or data. Or data. Which one do you want to go? You know what I mean? Route, potato. It's certainly not patata. There's no A at the end. It's not pterodactyl, apparently. Silent ass P. Why are you having a P there? You don't need it. It makes no sense. You don't call it a fucking Tyrannosaurus Rex with no T. It's the stupidest thing in the world. Hate that shit. Dumb. It's so dumb. I hate that. Makes no sense. But that's just a little rant. You know, herb. Like, what? With a WH? Why do you even have it? Because then you don't know that it's not WATT. Yeah, that didn't exist before then. We had the word what before WATT. That's the whole thing. Yeah, you forgot that one? I didn't. Why are you forgetting? What's up? Why are you doing that? What are you forgetting? What are you confusing it for? What's the other fucking word? I want to know about it. It's different. Yeah, you got rid of the U. You added other letters that we don't need. Don't even understand you. It's stupid. Oh yeah, that was a good swing. I like that. Good stuff. Yep. How fast you going? Exactly the speed limit. At all times. And slower. No matter what. That's all I've been doing. That's a cliff over there, by the way. Literally out to the left. Not even caring at all. I've gone through this, and yet I still treat it like it's actually a big deal. It doesn't matter. Never fucking get complacent. Don't ever do that shit. Ever. That's what I'm basically telling you. Yeah, you can run through this, and you can say this, get some fucking skill, and then, hey, guess what? You can be like me. Go through it. Nice, correctly, and seemingly too fast. See what I'm saying? Get skilled, bitch. That's what it's for. You know? But no, that's not what you want to do. Why? I don't know. It's pretty weird to me. But then again, people come through here, so that's one of the reasons why I don't like using the whole road and all that. Yeah, I don't want to be dangerous. It's not what that's about. I'm just trying to get my dog to go fucking shit. It's literally it, yeah. Alright, fucking, we're gonna get you to a great place. You're gonna fucking, like, run around. There's gonna be a fucking squirrel there. I'm gonna take you back home after you shit like 3 or 4 times, because that seems to be what you do every time. Right? And it's just like, yep, okay, that's how this works now. It's what it is. I don't know. I want to get my Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. I've been thinking about, okay, so this led me earlier today to think about this. So I wanted to talk about this. All right, I did. I wanted to talk about this for a different reason, though. Right? So it's like, okay, so what is this? This is a V10 diesel. Okay, this is an engine. Okay. Right? Now, I really want to talk about it because it's actually, because I came up with it thanks to Fast and Furious series. Like, I do like the series. Is fucking what it seems like I am. All serious all the time. It turns off and I go like, fuck you, I don't care. Boom, explosions. Show me all the fun. Right? So it's like, whatever. Suspension just, yeah. But it's like, okay, we have V10 diesels. Cool stuff. Right? we have old mechanical V10 diesels. So this comes from like a tractor, right? But it's like, all right, and now it's mechanical injection. It's like, cool, that's interesting. Nitromethane is what it runs off of. We switch it out. We get a port injection, we get rid of the glow plug, we change out the connection rods. The heads are basically just flat heads, for the piston heads, that is, right? Right? It's like, all right, I'll put a duct on the diesel injector because those old mechanicals didn't fire sideways quite as much. But that's kind of the best part. If you do the duct the right way, the nitromethane, right, wicks onto that duct and can actually cool it, which is great. That's the point, yeah. Right? But we port inject, and we also are running a hot V10, right? So the VGTs, meaning the variable geometry turbine blades, turbos, that is, each cylinder bank can go right in the center. I have to get like different, longer front end. The engine still has to be behind, of course, that those tires, right? We need big wide, we're gonna have bead locks, we do the whole thing, and gotta get torque tube, both ends coming out from the transfer case. Everything's a big fat honker of a fucking truck, limited slip, independent suspension, right? Diffs, right? We got all-wheel drive all day. That's what we're doing, you know what I mean? Right? But it's like we're running carburetors. Why? Because like they're running lean all the time. Yeah, so carburetors allow for you to run like a lean jet off the carb that cools the air coming in. We don't need any of this weird bullshit for water to air. But we do need that transmission has to get all of its gears, which most of them probably going to be broke, because the only way you're probably going to find like a V10 like this from back in the day is they're probably like a bent connection rod in the first place. So I have to get like an inline 6 diesel connection rod for the stroke length, so that way we can lower our compression ratio, right? Everything's diesel. We're gonna have to knife edge that fucking balancing, right? The crankshaft, right? The balancing weight, right? Because it's gonna go up to 18K. All doable still so far, right? But it's like, all right, so it's a shorter stroke, but not really. And then, oh right, it's still a high compression, but it's nitromethane. So it's like we have port injection, but we still have the diesel injection. Give me a second. Nitromethane can still be shot out by the diesel injectors. We still have a port injector, but guess what the port injector's for? It's to still run lean and still cool that fucking goddamn gas coming in, called air. That's right, air. Yeah. We still have that shit. It's coming in from the sides. That's what a hot means. It means it's not a flathead, like a flathead head, right? It's a flat piston head, right? So instead, it's like coming in from the sides, and it dumps all the exhaust into the center, which is what I said. But you'd be surprised how many people might not really know that stuff. You know what I mean? Because that's pretty normal. I'm gonna be honest, like that's a pretty normal thing for most people to not know. Whole thing. They're out of here with his dogs. He's getting some wood. That's the whole thing. Yeah. Alrighty. Alright. Alright, I can probably get around just a little bit here. Dip in, go up and over. Alrighty. So, point is though, right, we're gonna basically get into stoichiometric with the heterogeneous after the homogeneous, which is still running too lean. Right? So it's like we inject, but here's the kicker. The mechanical injector part, which runs off a camshaft, right, happens to be a variable valve duration. That's right, it's a variable valve duration. So we get a rocker arm and we shove it into that intake and that exhaust. Now that means we have to control when that happens to hit. Sure, so we got to get those good old VVT, so variable valve timing solenoids, to make that happen, or do as I wanted to do, because I wanted to cool it with the liquid nitrogen, and use the oil pressure, right? Yeah, I know, like you're cooling an engine with gas. Yeah, no, it's been done before. Yeah, no, I mean, like it's more thermally efficient. So like we gotta run the parallel, we gotta get the gills along the side of the front engine bay. We gotta get like a little raked up hood or intakes up there at the top. Kind of like how old school certain trucks did back in the day, right? Where it's like that little thing at the top of the hood, and then like that's the little, intake bar kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? right? So it's like, all right, then that goes over to a carburetor. But like, how did you wait? So like a 2JZ, those little bastards can now get a VVT to make sure a rocker arm actually hits at the right time to extend it, so that way it can get all the way up to 18,000. Yes, you heard me correctly. 18K RPM. Now, it means we have to balance the shit out of that fucker, but hey, it's all strong shit. We have to get a bit of a wider V, but that's kind of, well, doable, a little bit on the rough side, so doable, yeah, but this is, suspension disbelief, man, hodgepodge this shit up, come on, right, like, let's go for it, why not do it a little, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, we're saying this, right, we got our VVD, that means we also got, like, our standard timing shit that we already had, right, nothing out of the insane ordinary here yet. What does it do? Well, we got to get we removed the low and high gears, technically. We had to remove a couple of the gears of that transmission. So what we have to replace them with is a fluidic clutch. So everything is effectively just torque converter, wet clutches in those areas. Then that's our transfer case right there that goes to front and rear. So the only way I can engine mount something like this is if I can get a diff that's attached to also my intake manifolds, right, that also allow for me to run my engine mount I got two banks here now that I need to run for my carburetors, yeah. Right, and then my fuel rails too, which is what it is, right? But like, luckily that means the firewall can be modified for some of they would probably find a better vehicle. I haven't really figured out the vehicle yet. My main choice is either something in the 30, 40 to 50, 1950, 1940, that kind of thing, to land yacht 70s and 80s kind of area roughly, right? But I'm not totally sold on those ones. I don't have one picked out yet. That's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of the rough one right now for me, but it just needs a big long front end, barely, like mostly a boot, you know what I'm saying? Right, like got a trunk in there, all the suspension's it's gotta have a little bit, because like these are all front dips for a big ass fucking truck. Get a Toyota suspension seat, because like we're gonna do it up, we're just going to a junkyard and just getting all that shit, basically, yeah. We have to strap it onto those rocker arms and everything. Right, we have to strap it onto the camshaft connection points, for our bearings and everything. It's like, okay, I get you, fabrication, okay, but doable. They're fucking they fucking flew. They did a whole bunch of shit. So like, they can do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's reasonable enough. Yeah. Right. Like, we gotta strengthen it, but like, that means we're going with diesel for a reason, obviously. Yeah. Like, we want to have that be a thing. Yeah. So it's like, okay, we got our diesel. All right. So it's like, but it's not a diesel, and that's the best part, because genuinely, yeah, like, why not go for it? Yeah, like, it can handle higher compression anyways, so it can go 18K. That's ridiculous, but it really would probably put out over 10,000 foot-pounds of torque on the lower end and over 10,000 horsepower on that 18K end, which is astoundingly high in terms of the figures that we're talking about. That's like, boom, up there, immediate funny car drag racer. We got all-wheel drive for a reason. We need torque tubes. These are Corvette stuff, right? But like, really, what we're talking about is it's a hydraulic fluid pump, basically. Yeah, so we gotta get like the hydraulic fluid, front and rear, but we don't want much in the rear. We mostly want the front, but that's just because we can't, steering geometry wise, get something in there, right? Like, it's gonna be pretty jam-packed when you have to get the fender wells in a little bit to be able to get those engine mounts to there, but also be able to get big enough tires that we have to bead lock, because bruh, like, come on, big boy. This is a big guy. It is a big engine. It is a heavy bro. Boom. It's gonna go. That's what we're saying, you know what I'm saying? So, like, obviously, you gotta do a little something to make that work, right? yeah. But the transfer case is like the main kind of rub, because that means I need to do a double torque converter almost to a diff to make that work as a dual torque tube, right? Totally doable, nothing too out of the insanity levels there. And yes, well, you know, we got these limited slips in the front end. We can tie down that rear in such a way we don't need to get a lot of rear wheel steering. We mostly want it to just hook up and go, because like they're not always quarter mile all the time. This is a 5-second Dominic Toretto, not Camaro, sorry, Camaro, whole thing, brain stuff, yeah, right. But yeah, no, it's like, okay, so like, yeah, I can do it, you can do it. It's like, it's an actual vehicle that can 100% be made, genuinely can do that. We get a VVD, that's exactly what you need at those top ends anyways, like there's no real way, yeah. And then torque converter isn't really technically, it's fluidic, but I mean a torque converter and a fluidic, and depending on how it hooks up for a clutch to like each gear, right, is like what that turns into, yeah. So like, yeah, you have to do the mount anyways. They're gonna be broken gears. You're just gonna have to go into a transmission and do the scary part, you know, of getting your hands dirty. You have to do it, you know what I mean? So yeah, but like that's the thing to a big beefy ass front end from a truck. It's like Carroll Shelby now is gonna be what we're doing here. I get ya, it's how it works.